Welcome, Abijoma Onyatol. Tonight, 258 Nigerians arrive in the country from war-torn Libya. NAPTIP hands over 21 returnees from Libya to Edo State government. Former Minister of the FCT, Bala Muhammad, gets bail in the sum of 500 million naira and 2 sureties in like sum. Chief Justice of Nigeria criticizes politicians for interference in judicial process as Supreme Court affirms election of Okezie Ikpeazu as Governor of Abia State. And soldiers in Ivory Coast revolt at various military bases in protest over a pay dispute.
And on business news tonight, federal government to hold talks with striking ExxonMobil staff and the corporation next week in a bid to sustain oil production.
And on sports news tonight, Chelsea emerged English Premier League champions of 2016-2017 season after a narrow win over West Bromwich Albion.
And from Abuja, angry Bayelsa youth vandalized shops of traders in Biobolo community of Yenagoa following the murder of a 70-year-old indigent.
More Nigerians are making their way back from war-torn North African country Libya. 258 of them arrived in Lagos last night aboard a chartered Airbus A330-200 operated by Libya Airlines. The Deputy Director, Search and Rescue, National Emergency Management Agency, and the Director, Southwest Zone, National Commission for Refugees, Migrants and Internally Displaced Persons were at the Bala Muhammad Airport to receive them. Both are citizens to believe in their country instead of searching for greener pastures.
Has taken up the challenge to ensure that these people are trained in vocational adventures so as to be able to reintegrate into the society. So that is ongoing. 258 are on board. Female, we have 24 adults, 1 infant. Male, 229 adults, 4 children. Total 258. We look at this population, majority are male, and like the disposition used to be, the 2 states of Edo and Delta picks the majority.
To parents is please start early teaching your children that you don't have any other country but home, which is Nigeria. We're a beautiful country blessed with abundance, and we have so much to do, so much to offer, but it's a matter of patience. And with the change mantra, I can assure you that there will be change if we all join hands together to ensure that this country moves forward, and we can do it.
Meanwhile, over 5,000 Nigerians are still stranded in the North African country, and that's according to the acting zonal coordinator of the National Agency for the Prohibition of Trafficking in Persons, NAPTIP, in Benin City. He made this disclosure while handing over 21 of the Nigerians who had earlier returned from Edo State.
21 persons were deported from Libya. 3 of them are from neighboring Delta State, while the rest, 18, are from Edo.
And you know that our DG, Barrister Mrs. Julie Okadonli, is making effort to make sure that most of our victims that are stranded in Libya are brought back. You know, the record indicates that there are about 5,500 victims outside, and most of them are already being brought back to Nigeria. This week alone, about 500 of them will come back.
They recount their harrowing experiences while in custody of ISIS militants and the racial discrimination they lived through in that country.
When we read that, they now tell us we talk to Muslims, not talk to Muslims, so that we kill us. It's supposed to make up our mind now, unless they're going to kill us. So we not tell them, okay, so we'll talk to Muslims. So I'm not a Christian, so we'll not talk to Muslims. If someone told me that I want to travel, I don't want to travel again. But people don't want to travel. I will call them, advise them they should not travel.
The sufferness in Libya, you can't walk free. They hate black. You can't do anything that will attract the whites. There's nothing you can do that will make them to love you.
This girl lost her friends to a collapsed building during a bombing raid.
That is house for Topo.
Any other question?
The Edo State government accepted them with open arms.
Sure, you have accepted me as your sister.
And has promised to rehabilitate them and reintegrate them into the society.
My aim of coming here today is to interact with them. You saw me doing that, to identify the type of trade they want to go into. For those that want to go to school, the Edo State government is going to be fully responsible for their schooling so that they can be useful citizens of this state.
They leave for their various homes, appreciating the second chance to make amends and approach life differently, hoping also that their experiences will deter others from falling prey to human traffickers.
To legal matters now, the Federal High Court sitting in Lagos was today faced with a conflict in the case of the chairman of Capital Oil and Gas Limited, Ifeanyi Ubah. Justice Muhammad Idris had ordered the Department of State Services and its Director General to produce Mr. Ubah in court today or show cause why he should not be produced. But rather than produce him in court, the counsel to the DSS told Justice Idris that the agency had obtained an order in Abuja to keep Mr. Ubah for another 14 days. The DSS is keeping Mr. Ubah in custody on account of allegations of economic sabotage and diversion of petroleum products to the tune of 11 billion naira. His lawyer, Prince Ajibola Oluyede, asked Justice Idris to order his immediate release.
We are certainly not pleased that our client continues to remain in incarceration by DSS unjustifiably because he has done nothing criminal. According to the claim of the DSS, he has released some product into the market, which according to them belong to the NNPC. Now, this product, even if it is true that he released this into the market, and he released it into the market to save the nation from a crisis of shortage. Now, they claim that product is worth 11 billion naira. Now, they themselves admit that they are owing him 14 to 16 billion naira. But they say, I don't know what kind of business sense that is, that he must pay them first. He must pay their own 11 billion first before they will consider paying his own 16 billion. And it's for that reason that they got the DSS, because they're a government parastatal, to arrest and to detain him and to paint him like a criminal when they know that he has done nothing wrong.
In a different court, that's the Abuja High Court, today granted a former minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Bala Muhammad, bail. Justice Abubakar Talba granted him bail in the sum of 500 million naira with two sureties in like sum. The former FCT minister was also ordered to deposit his passport with the registrar of the High Court.
The courtroom is filled to capacity as friends and associates of the immediate past Minister of the Federal Capital Territory, Senator Bala Muhammad, storms the court. He is here to witness proceedings on his bail application. While moving the bail application, which was brought under the various sections of the 1999 Constitutions and the Administration of Criminal Justice Act of 2015, lawyer to the accused, Chris Uche, urged the courts to release his client on bail on self-recognition. The defense counsel submitted that the alleged offences were bailable and drew the attention of the courts to the fact that his client had earlier been arrested, detained and investigated by the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission, the EFCC, in relation to his tenure as Minister of the Federal Capital Territory and in respect of unsubstantiated allegations of conspiracy, abuse of office and money laundering. The prosecutor, Johnson Ojogbani, however, opposed granting the bail without conditions. After a 30-minute break, Justice Abubakar Talba granted the accused the bail in the sum of 500 million naira and two sureties in like sum. Lawyer to the accused expresses satisfaction with the bail terms.
We are very happy that bail has been granted today. So what is now remaining is for us to hear the case. And you know, it is one thing to accuse, is another thing to prove. It is very easy to accuse, but it's very difficult to prove. We are very set. We've looked at all the charges, and by the time the nation hears our defense, everybody will know what this case is all about.
The prosecutor maintains the same position with the defense counsel on the bail terms.
His Lordship asked us to agree on the term of the bail conditions, which we did. Both the learned counsel, the learned silk for the defendant, and us met together and agreed on the bail conditions, which we forwarded to His Lordship, and the Lordship granted bail upon those conditions.
Having perfected the bail conditions, Senator Bala, who is standing trial for alleged corruption to the tune of 864 million naira, is expected to return to the court on the 4th of July to face trial.
Staying with legal matters, the Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Walter Onoge, has taken a swipe at politicians, warning them not to destroy the judiciary, which he described as the last hope of the ordinary Nigerian. The CJN, who was speaking while delivering the ruling in the Abia governorship case, told the open court that desperate politicians have been invading the court with the aim of compromising court officials. Justice Onoge also revealed that there were several security breaches, which he described as serious offences, vowing that they will be thoroughly investigated. The Supreme Court today affirmed the election of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State, saying he was properly nominated by the People's Democratic Party. Delivering judgment in 3 separate suits brought against the governor by 2 of the aspirants in the Abia State PDP governorship primaries in 2015, the court dismissed the suit for lacking in merit. In the lead judgment written by Justice Bala Muhammad, the court held that the appellants failed to prove the allegation that the governor's tax clearance was forged. Our correspondent Amaka Ukafo reports.
Lawyers and supporters of the parties in 3 consolidated suits challenging the nomination and subsequent election of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu as governor of Abia State, waiting for the verdict of the Apex Court. A panel of justices led by Chief Justice Walter Onoye delivered the judgment in the suits filed by Mr. Samson Oga and Friday Nwosu, 2 aspirants who participated in the PDP governorship primaries which produced Governor Ikpeazu as governor. The lead judgment written by Justice Musa Dettijo but delivered by Justice Enembi Eko dismissed the suits for lacking in merit. According to the judgment, tax of public servants are normally deducted from source, and being a public servant at the time, Governor Ikpeazu's tax was deducted as source, adding that if there were any irregularities, it is not the governor that should be held responsible, but the agency responsible for tax collection in the state. In his own judgment, the Chief Justice described the case as a storm in a teacup, which ought not to have been entertained by any court in the first place. The court, however, awarded a cost of 250,000 naira each in favor of the governor and the People's Democratic Party to be paid by the appellant in the case.
What you have just seen since 2015 is distraction of governance in Abia. Thank God it has come to an end today.
The matter has been resolved. It has been resolved. And so it should not continue to be outstanding. They must go home now, unite with the government, and move that state forward.
This verdict puts to rest any legal battle concerning the election of Governor Okezie Ikpeazu of Abia State. Amaka Ukafo, Channels Television News.
In part 2, after the break, angry Bayelsa youths vandalized shops of traders in Biogbolo community of Yenagoa following the murder of a 17-year-old indigent. That's in a moment. Do stay with us.